Let us begin with a direct question. Who told you it was impossible? Who convinced you to lower your sights, shrink your ambition, dilute your dream? Was it someone you trusted? A teacher? A friend? A family member who never dared to reach beyond their own comfort zone? Or perhaps it was society itself. The world around you speaking in whispers, murmurs, and statistics that proclaim people like you don't make it there. Understand this now. Every great achievement that ever was, every towering success, every invention, every movement, every breakthrough was once considered impossible. But impossible is only a word spoken by those who quit early. It is not a wall, it is a test of your belief, your will, your imagination. What most call impossible is simply unproven by them, and they project their limits onto your life because they've never had the courage to face their own. But you, if you are listening to this, then something in your spirit is still alive, still burning, still restless. That restless fire is your definiteness of purpose. It is the seed of your destiny, pushing against the dirt of doubt, yearning to break free into the light of creation. Let no man tell you what you are capable of, for they do not know the strength of your desire. They do not know the power of your vision. They do not know the intensity of your faith. And they cannot see what lies dormant within you, waiting to be called forth by the unwavering belief that says, I will do it anyway. Yes, they may laugh. Yes, they may mock. Let them, because long before the world applauds the impossible dreamer, it ridicules him. Long before the crowd gathers to cheer, it jeers. That is the cost of greatness, the price of becoming more than what others accept as realistic. And let me say this plainly. The impossible is not conquered with talent alone. It is not defeated by luck or chance or favorable conditions. It yields only to one force. The disciplined, burning obsession of a person who has decided not to quit. You must become that person. You must develop a mind so focused, so resolute, that even the winds of failure cannot move you. Even the storms of rejection cannot drown you. You must live, breathe, and believe your goal before anyone else sees it. You must see with your inner eye, your imagination, that which is yet to be built with your hands. I call this applied faith. Not just belief. Applied, lived, practiced, walked out every single day, especially on the days when results are invisible and progress feels like pain. Because this is where most quit. They start with enthusiasm. They start with hope. But then they face resistance. They meet delay. They hear one no too many. And they interpret those signs as reasons to stop when in fact they are signals to keep going. I tell you now, every vision worth having will be tested. And the bigger the vision, the greater the test. You will face delay. You will face criticism. You will face moments when you question your own sanity. And that is when you must force your mind to remember the power that brought the dream to you is the same power that will bring it through you. You are not alone. The infinite intelligence of the universe is not blind to your desire, but it must be proven. Not to the world, but to yourself. Can you persist without evidence? Can you hold the picture in your mind, clear and unshaken, when the world offers no applause? That is where the impossible begins to surrender. It surrenders to persistence. And this is the secret few dare to understand. Persistence is more powerful than genius, more valuable than raw talent, more important than circumstance. Because persistence bends reality to your will. It forges character. It molds destiny. And over time, it breaks down the very walls that once stood as barriers. But to persist, you must master your inner world. You must defeat the voices of fear, doubt, and procrastination that live within you. You must recognize them for what they are. illusions born from past failures, borrowed opinions, and unconscious patterns. They are not your truth. They are not your future. They are tests. And you, my friend, must become the examiner. Look each fear in the eye and ask it, who told you that I can't? Demand an answer. Interrogate the limitation. You'll find it has none. No evidence, no logic, just repetition. But repetition can be used for good or evil. If you repeat a lie to yourself long enough, you'll believe it. But here is your power. If you repeat the truth with more passion, more conviction, and more consistency, you can rewire your very soul. And the truth is this: you were not born to be average. You were not created to merely exist. You were not designed to follow the path of least resistance. You are a creator. You are a force. You are an agent of transformation. And your dream, your so-called impossible dream, is the very tool the universe has given you to evolve. It is not just a goal. It is a mirror showing you who you must become. To achieve it, you must become disciplined, focused, clear, relentless. You must act in spite of fear. You must work in spite of fatigue. You must believe in spite of delay. This is how you outgrow the old self. This is how you expand your consciousness. And this is how you walk into a reality most will never know. You are not here to please the masses. You are here to break patterns. You are here to shift generations. You are here to embody a new kind of possibility. And every step you take, no matter how small, is evidence that you refuse to accept impossible as a final answer. It is not the fastest who succeed. It is not the loudest. It is the most certain, the most consistent, the most committed. Do not ask the world for permission to win. Do not wait for validation from those who've never built anything worth admiring. Decide now. Declare to yourself, in no uncertain terms, I will do it, even if they say I can't, even if they laugh, even if it takes longer, even if no one understands, because you understand, and that is enough. Now, get to work, not out of desperation, but determination. Not to prove them wrong, but to prove yourself right. Not with bitterness, but with boldness. Because every time you rise when it's hard, every time you speak life into your vision, every time you act while others wait, you place another brick on the foundation of a life that will one day shout from the rooftops, "They told me it was impossible. I did it anyway." You must realize definitively and without hesitation that the mind is the master power that molds and shapes your reality. Not your conditions, not your past, not even your talents, your mind. And once you have truly understood this truth, not merely memorized it, but allowed it to set your spirit on fire, then and only then will you begin to rise above the limits imposed on you by others. The ones who told you it was impossible, listen to me now. They were not issuing a verdict. They were revealing their own limitation. They were projecting their fear onto your future. But their fear is not your truth. Their doubt is not your destiny. You are not here to live inside another man's boundaries. You are here to shatter them. The impossible exists only until someone dares to defy it. You must be that someone, because inside you is a power that has been lying dormant, waiting to be activated through belief, discipline, and decision. Most people don't fail because they lack ability. They fail because they stop believing it's possible. They surrender to the voices, external and internal, that whisper, "It can't be done." But I tell you now, what you can conceive and believe, you can achieve. Do not dismiss those words as mere inspiration. That sentence is a scientific formula for the transformation of thought into tangible results. Conceive, believe, and achieve. Conception is the seed, the initial vision that ignites your imagination. Belief is the fuel. It sustains your desire when the nights grow long and no one else can see the vision but you. Achievement is the harvest. It manifests through relentless effort, intelligently directed, consistently applied. And this is where most fail. They dabble. They try a little. They give half of their energy hoping for full results. But success does not answer to partial effort. It responds only to obsession, to a white-hot desire that consumes you so thoroughly that giving up feels more painful than the struggle. You must want it more than you want to be liked. You must want it more than you want to be understood. You must want it more than you want to stay comfortable. There is no way around it. If you are going to accomplish what others said was impossible, you must transform your identity. You must become the kind of man or woman who finishes what they start, who keeps promises to themselves, who does not negotiate with weakness. You must stop thinking like the person who failed and start thinking like the person who wins. And how does that person think? They think in terms of purpose, not pressure. They think in terms of discipline, not distraction. They think in terms of long-term vision, not short-term pleasure. They think like a master, not a victim. And if you want to join their ranks, if you want to do what others cannot, you must train your mind like a warrior. That means learning to suffer with dignity. That means showing up on the days when motivation has fled. That means building systems so strong, even your bad days produce results. Let me ask you, what is your current identity? When you look in the mirror, who do you see? Do you see someone who sticks to their word? Someone who can be trusted with a dream? Or do you see someone who makes excuses? Who talks more than they act? Who allows fear to sit in the driver's seat? You cannot expect to live a legendary life with a mediocre mindset. You cannot rise while clinging to the person you used to be. Greatness demands death, not of your physical self, but of the weak excuse-making, approval-chasing self that has kept you small. You must be willing to bury that self, to say goodbye to the habits, the people, the environments that have reinforced your limitations. Because the path to impossible results is paved with impossible decisions. And yes, it will be lonely. You will walk away from comfort, from validation, from the noise of the crowd. You will walk toward silence, toward solitude, toward yourself. And it is there, in the quiet crucible of your own will, that transformation takes place. It is there that you become dangerous, not to others, but to your own mediocrity. You become the kind of man who no longer needs to be told what to do. You become the kind of woman who no longer waits for conditions to be perfect. You become a force that moves regardless of fear, regardless of fatigue, regardless of circumstance. And that kind of person is unstoppable. You must understand there is no mystery to success. Only principles. Only laws. And the law is this: those who persist beyond the point of comfort are rewarded. Those who burn their excuses at the altar of discipline ascend. Those who speak life over their vision, even when they are surrounded by doubt, unlock a power that is divine in nature. You are not behind. You are not too late. You are not unqualified. You are simply uncommitted. But that can change today. Today, you can plant your flag. You can say, I will no longer accept the life I've outgrown. I will no longer betray my potential. I will no longer apologize for wanting more. Say it aloud. I will become the person who earns it. I will become the person who commands success. I will become the person who finishes. You owe it to yourself. You owe it to the younger version of you who once dreamed without limits. You owe it to the future version of you who is waiting to be unlocked. And the only key that will open that door is faith multiplied by action. Now, listen closely. Your environment must match your ambition. You cannot grow in soil that poisons you. Audit your circle. Audit your habits. Audit your inputs. Because whatever enters your mind begins to shape your destiny. If your surroundings do not reflect the vision you are committed to, change them. If your daily routine does not reflect the person you say you want to be, rebuild it. If your inner dialogue does not speak life, retrain it. The impossible is only sustained by your agreement with your current identity. The moment you withdraw that agreement, the moment you step into a new level of conviction, the impossible begins to tremble. The walls you thought would never fall begin to crack. Doors that were sealed begin to swing open. Not because the world changed, but because you did. Because you finally aligned your inner world with your outer goals. Because you finally made a decision, one not born of desperation, but of power. The power to say, I will not settle. I will not retreat. I will rise. And if the world has counted you out, good. That means they'll never see you coming. You are now standing at the brink of transformation. The voices that once told you it was impossible, the doubts, the naysayers, the critics, and even your former self are not the architects of your destiny unless you allow them to be. Let me remind you, their limitations are not your boundaries. Their fears are not your reality. Their disbelief does not determine your potential. The greatest tragedies in human life are not the failures we endure, but the successes we never claim simply because we gave up too soon, believed too little, and settled too early. I urge you to hear this not just as a motivational sentiment, but as a truth carved into the fabric of all greatness. What others call impossible is often just unproven. So the question becomes, do you trust your vision more than their verdict? Let's return to a core principle of my teachings: definiteness of purpose. When you lock your focus on a clear objective and refuse to let go, the universe begins to yield. Not because the road becomes easier, but because your mind becomes stronger. You will either find a way or forge one. You will no longer look for permission. You will act on decision. Think about the energy that is wasted when we second-guess ourselves. Every hesitation is a vote cast for mediocrity. Every moment of doubt drains the fuel meant to power your dreams. But when you decide, truly decide, that you will succeed, no matter how long it takes, something remarkable happens. Your actions begin to align with your intentions. Consistency becomes your companion. Discipline becomes your weapon. And progress becomes inevitable. Now let me tell you what separates the dreamers from the achievers. The bridge is built with controlled attention, not scattered, not reactive, controlled. You must train your mind to stay fixed on the outcome, even when results are not visible, especially when results are not visible, because the law of compensation does not reward effort instantly. It rewards sustained belief and disciplined effort over time. You must hold the image of success in your mind long enough for reality to match it. And while you wait, work. While you grind, grow. While you hustle, heal. This is the game. Those who stay the course win. And what of failure? Let us redefine it. Failure is not the opposite of success, it is the path to it. Every setback, every defeat, every delay is nothing more than feedback, a redirection, a refinement, a reminder that you are being shaped into someone capable of the goal you desire. You are not being punished. You are being prepared. You do not need to be perfect. You need to be persistent. Say this aloud to yourself now. I will persist until I succeed. I will not be defined by those who said I couldn't. I will not surrender to fear. I will rise with fire. I will endure with faith. Now, let's talk about fear. The only power fear has is the power you give it. Fear of judgment, fear of failure, fear of starting, These are illusions, mirrors held up by those too afraid to try. Break them, smash them. Declare that your life will no longer be dictated by imagined disasters. You must act boldly. You must move aggressively in the direction of your dreams. Do not tiptoe toward your calling. Run. When you feel resistance, into it. When you feel tired, dig deeper. When you feel alone, remember, you are never alone when you walk with purpose. There is an unseen force that aligns with those who commit to their calling. I have called it infinite intelligence. Others call it faith, God, the universe. Call it what you will. It moves mountains for the mind that is unwavering. And this is your advantage. Most people quit too soon. Not because the goal was unreachable, but because they did not believe they were worthy of it. You must break that cycle. You must break that generational curse of small thinking. You must rise as the example, the proof, the light. You must believe in your vision louder than they believe in your limits. You must cultivate inner certainty. How? Through repetition of truth. You affirm your power daily. You speak to yourself as a winner, not a victim. You remind yourself of your resilience, your resourcefulness, your reason. This is not arrogance. This is alignment. Success is not only a game of skills, it is a game of self-image. You must see yourself as capable before the world can. You must walk like it, think like it, plan like it, act like it, dress like it, speak like it, and most of all, persist like it. Because even when no one claps for you, even when doors close in your face, even when results are slow and hope feels faint, you must keep showing up. And one day, it will hit you. The impossible has become inevitable. The doubt has become fuel. The critics have become silent. And the world begins to rearrange itself, not because it changed, but because you did. The storm you walked through made you stronger. The silence you endured made you focused. The pressure you felt made you unbreakable. You no longer ask if you can do it. You already are. This is the turning point. This is where most give up. But you are different. You are not here to be average. You are not here to blend in. You are not here to surrender to fear. You are here to defy expectations, to rewrite the narrative, to prove that what others call impossible is just the next level of discipline, decision, and desire. Say it again. I am capable of the impossible. I am worthy of greatness. I will persist until I succeed. Let that belief saturate your soul. Let it dominate your thoughts. Let it elevate your actions. Because once you believe it deeply, fully, unquestionably, then nothing, and I mean nothing, can stop you. The world does not move for the doubter. It moves for the doer. And you, my friend, are no longer the man or woman who waits. You are the one who moves mountains. You are the one who walks on fire. You are the one who turns the impossible into legacy. And so I ask you now, what will you do with that power? Will you shrink or will you rise? Will you hesitate or will you declare? Will you repeat the past or will you become the future? The choice, as always, is yours. Let me speak plainly now. If you've come this far, you are not average. You are not part of the masses who surrender their lives to doubt, fear, and social approval. You are one of the rare few who dares to walk the lonely road. You are one of the brave souls who not only dreams but acts, who not only envisions but builds, who not only hopes but believes. Understand this. Your life is governed by invisible forces. Thoughts are not harmless. They are spiritual seeds. Every word you speak, every emotion you feel, every belief you hold, these are not idle things. They are vibrational blueprints constructing the architecture of your destiny. You may not see it yet, but the world around you is already beginning to respond to the frequency within you. The impossible begins to crack when your mind becomes unshakable. Men have moved mountains not by might, but by will. They've rewritten their fate not by privilege, but by persistence. What separates those who break through from those who remain buried beneath their excuses is not talent, it is decision. Have you made that decision yet? Have you burned the bridges that lead back to mediocrity? Have you thrown your excuses to the fire and declared, "I will not return to who I once was"? Until you do, success will remain a stranger. But once you do, once you declare with absolute certainty that you must succeed, the universe begins to align. You don't need to convince the world of your worth. You need to convince yourself. And the moment you do, the world cannot help but reflect that conviction back to you. The external is but a mirror. People will tell you it's too late, that the odds are against you, that you don't have what it takes. But remember, they are only revealing the limits of their minds, not yours. Do not allow their fears to become your reality. Do not shrink to make others comfortable. You were not born to blend in. You were born to break through. Every moment you delay your calling to accommodate the opinions of the crowd, you betray the mission that was planted inside you at birth. You were not given your dreams by accident. You were chosen to endure the fire, chosen to overcome the odds, chosen to prove that greatness is possible, not just for the lucky or the wealthy or the gifted, but for the committed. Yes, the committed, because commitment makes up for what you lack. Commitment silences the noise. Commitment trains your focus like a laser beam. It makes your actions lethal. And when you commit, I mean truly commit, even the impossible begins to move. Do you want to know the real secret? It's not just about thinking positively. It's not about reading motivational quotes. It's not even about setting goals. It's about dominating your mind every single day. It's about commanding your attention to stay fixed on the vision even when the world gives you every reason to fold. It's about disciplining your emotions when fear whispers that you're not enough. It's about choosing progress over comfort, purpose over pleasure, destiny over distraction. You will not find this power in noise. You will find it in solitude. When you rise before the world does, when you sit in silence and ask your Creator, "Who must I become to achieve the impossible?" And you listen, and then you act. Faith without works is dead. You must move your feet. You must speak life into your goals. You must take relentless, unapologetic, deliberate action every single day, even when it's hard. You say you want to succeed? Then get uncomfortable. Get obsessed. Get disciplined. Stop negotiating with weakness. Stop explaining yourself to doubters. Stop waiting for permission. You are the only permission you will ever need. God gave you a mind, a heart, and a fire. Now use them. Let every setback sharpen you. Let every delay stretch your patience. Let every critic strengthen your resolve. Do you think I wrote Think and Grow Rich in Comfort? No. I wrote it in urgency, in fire, in complete belief that mankind was not meant to be shackled by fear. You are not here to live a quiet life of compliance. You are here to conquer yourself, and in doing so, inspire others to do the same. Your greatness is not in what you have, it's in what you overcome. So don't you dare stop now. Don't stop when you're tired. Stop when you're done. Don't stop because you're scared. Push through the fear. Use it. Every time your mind says, "I can't," say, "Watch me." Every time the world says impossible, you whisper back, "Watch me rise." You don't have to scream. Let your results be your roar. Let your discipline be your volume. Let your perseverance be your anthem. Let your victory be your proof. And when you arrive at that mountaintop, the one they said was too high, too steep, too far, don't look down to gloat. Look down to reach. Because the true mark of success is not merely climbing the impossible, it's reaching back to show others they can too. That is legacy. That is power. That is purpose. Now stand up, look in the mirror and declare, I am no longer who I was. I am who I decide to become. And I decide now to make the impossible inevitable. You have all that you need. You are ready. Now go succeed at what they said was impossible.